Hi everyone, I'm Jago Transport, and this is
I'm Mr. New Jersey Transit.
Can I say your name?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, better known to me as Arthur. So how long have we been friends? I think
Since about 2016.
2016. So
Yeah.
a long time. So today we are on the High Line. And you want to give some historical background?
So the High Line was originally a portion of the New York Central. I believe it transported both freight and commuter trains. There was an electrified portion because you can see the third rail over there. And eventually, as time goes on, a railroad line like this became irrelevant. And there was a gentleman, I don't recall his name, who decided that he wanted to turn the High Line into a rail trail. So over the past couple of years or so, he's basically transformed the entire High Line into a rail trail. The nice thing about it is it's a portion of, there's existing where it's like a trail or a platform to walk on, but he's kept a lot of the old High Line to its original form, like the trackage and everything. And there's even still switch points, like over here. There's still switch points from the High Line that's up here.
And these look familiar. Are these what are those? Are those like?
They kind of look like, they're like benches, but they kind of look like third rail. Like the third rail stuff, like over here.
Like,
here's the switch point, the old switch point. Can you lift it? Oh, look at that. You can flip the old switch point. I did not know you could do that. That's awesome. Looks like people have done this a bunch of times because there's wear on the sides over here, but that's cool. I didn't know you could still do that. Honestly, I didn't. But the nice part about the High Line is it's something new and exciting for, I guess, the average person, and then for a rail historian, you can come out here and walk on a piece of railroad history that doesn't really get notified that much. Does this also go, or is this?
Oh, it's locked. Oh, it only goes that way.
Oh, but that's so cool. All right, shall we continue on?
Yeah.
So I can't really say if this portion of the line was actually electrified or had diesel power, but I have to assume that it was mainly electrified. And then if you look over to the rail, cool.
Well, at least not all of it.
No, not all of the portion is going, but
Oh, we actually see one moving there. There's a M7 moving.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Is that part over there open? Or is that?
It should be, yeah. I believe it's so open. If it's not, then we'll find out.
Now, I know you said, you were saying this is really cool from a railroad historian perspective.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree. Because I am at heart a railroad historian. Well, that's too bad.
I believe work in progress. This area is currently closed for rehab.
So hold on. Well, I'll just say this. So you said it's really cool. I definitely agree it's cool from a railroad historian perspective. But I'm sure if someone say RM Transit were here, I'm sure what he might have said is why don't you just take the opportunity to save one of New York cells and turn it into something like the Vancouver SkyTrain.
Well, you could do that, but I don't really think every rail line can absolutely be saved. And if you can't absolutely save a rail line, the least you can do is, do what the High Line's done. I think every rail trail that comes up in this century should really follow what the High Line idea is, which is, turn it into something like that. As you can see, when you get to the beginning of the High Line, there's a portion that's blocked off that's currently still under rehab, development, and everything. But a nice thing here is there's a sign talking about the history of the High Line, and it started off as a portion of the New York Central, and then it worked its way up into the hands of CSX. and the city wanted to demolish the High Line in the beginning, but CSX donated the High Line to a group called Friends of the High Line, and ever since 2002, 2005, this is been slowly coming back as a rail trail.
And you said this is the best way if you're going to do a rail trail. This is the best way of doing it.
Because this is something for a community to, thrive off of, and for people to, go explore the High Line. But at the same time, for a railroad historian who, if you like New York State railroading, the High Line is something really, really cool. And what they've done is they've turned it into a trail, of course, but they've preserved a lot of the trackage and what the High Line was and what it is now.
They've preserved a lot of the railroad infrastructure and incorporated it into the trail.
Right.
Like here, when I see that looks like something you'd see, like, I don't know what it is, but it reminds me of something you see like on a third rail system like Long Island Railroad, the Metro North, the PATH, or the New York City Subway. Where does the track start?
Yeah, the track's actually going to start up over here.
And there's still what's cool is that there's still the third rail.
Yep. There's still portions of the old third rail, and there's even portions of the switches. Switch over to different tracks and such. So,
which you already tried.
yeah, which I already tried, but I'll show it again in the video.
So you can see track, how they incorporated it into the floor, and there you can see the third rail. And it's interesting, they've actually made the third rail sort of a guard against the gardens. No pun intended.
Now, originally back in the day, I'm sure any railroader will know that there was a switch lock over here and everything, but since they've rebuilt the park, they've rebuilt the trackage, and they've also done a lot of work to the switches. Now you can basically just take, do that back again like that. Pretty cool. Anyway, so I'd say let's go walk around the High Line a little bit, see if we find anything else around here that really hits something interesting.
All right. Oh, the other tripped.
But even if you're just a rail fan looking to do something in the city, this is a cool place to come to because it's not far away from Penn Station or Monia Train Hall.
No.
If you're just someone who's looking for a day out in the city, or if you're looking to go for a bike ride or whatever, this is another cool place to go check out.
Although the thing is, it's so crowded, it's not the most practical place to bike.
True. But even if you wanted to, it is an idea.
I think this is interesting. They have all of these, I guess they're, I think these are African American newspapers.
You want to go this way?
I think we came from that way, so let's go this way.
Alright.
So you were saying about the tie, Arthur?
So I was saying that, first of all, there's no tie plate there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is, a little weird. But then the thing that I've noticed about some of these ties is that they have a spike that's just going straight through the tie. No tie plate or anything. And that's not even the right tie size for this type of rail.
What is it?
You send a train over this rail, it's going to completely destroy it.
What is this for, like narrow gauge or something?
More or less for narrow gauge. Something like, I wouldn't say this is more something that we would use down at Pine Creek, but this is more of something that we would use at maybe a 2-footer railroad, like the main 2-footers or something.
Oh,
okay. I have to look more into it because we actually do use, we actually kind of use the common standard gauge ties at Pine Creek since we started doing a lot more of the track work recently. So I don't know. I have to look more into that. But it's just funny to me that they bought these spikes and they just put them in here like that.
I mean, what do you expect? This is a park. It's for aesthetics.
True. Alright, so I'm not really sure what this is for. I think it's just put here because it is. But
For the guardrails.
probably that, but something I noticed because, in Pine Creek we have a rail set up like this. For those of you who don't know, the outer rails are standard gauge and then the inner rails over here are narrow gauge.
So this is 4 foot 8 1/2, and the inner rails are what, 3'6"?
Yeah, more or less. But I know this because at Pine Creek, if you've ever been there, we have a Staten Island Mac and we have a Tidewater tank car and a Pennsylvania Railroad coach all the way in the back of the car barn.
And they're all standard gauge.
Right. So when we got the Mac, we had to put down standard gauge rails to put it in the shop. So we did the system of 2 rails on the outside, which will be for standard gauge, and then the inner rails will be for narrow gauge, which is for narrow gauge. So, that's pretty cool. Something, I think is pretty unique to see out here for a place that was pretty much standard gauge.
I'm wondering. I'm wondering. So it probably is just guardrails, but I'm wondering if the narrow gauge rails ran into some sort of factory that used narrow gauge.
Maybe. I would also probably have to imagine that these were also maybe guardrails just in case of it. Maybe it was going over a portion of a bridge, or maybe, and they have guardrails on the bridges. So maybe it was for that. I'm not.